We have a few things to discuss in today's video. Ariel Helwani wants me on his show in person for a collab when I go to the USA in early 2026, very, very early 2026 as well. It's not that far away. I'm going to be in the US. I'm going to be going to places like Boston, New York City, a couple of other spots on the East Coast, and then hopefully Nashville and I've shot my shot. Hopefully I can get a nice Theo Von collaboration. I know he's a big MMA fan, and also the main purpose of the trip is where we're going to end the US tour, and that's for fishing with Bryce in Arkansas. So I thought I'd go through that in today's video, and also I want to go through some other things, which are Ronda Rousey's bitter return to MMA media. Of course, Ronda Rousey disappeared on us, but she was trashing Joe Rogan. She was trashing Khabib Nurmagomedov. Not all bad. Listen, not all bad. You know what I'm saying? She had some hitters in here, okay? A couple good points, listen. But then she was also going on about how great Dana White is for the sport and how MMA fans in general aren't shit. And she was going off a very, very bitter, salty return to MMA media. But listen, I'm the same way. So what can I say, dude? I'm going to have to go through this. Ronda Rousey had a lot to say. But we're going to start with this clip from Ariel's show where he gets into me coming to the US.
Sorry, boys.
Good friend of the channel, MMA Guru, is touring the U.S. soon and is going to New York City. He's interested in coming on your show. Is he welcomed?
I'm interested. I mentioned, listen, if I'm going to be in New York and I'm going to be around, what collaboration makes the most sense more than Ariel Helwani? Now, how do you guys want me to do this? Do I stand my base? Do I go all... Dude, because listen, Ariel's been up to no good in the past, and there's a reason why I had those videos against him. Am I going to really stand my base on the show in person? I think that would make for some great content, so long as I stand my base. I'm not going to be up there all limp-wristed and... you know what I'm saying? It's going to be some moments, but I'm sure it'll be a good collab. What's Ariel got to say about this? One of the clip channels is asking this question, fishing for some content for himself, no less.
He's interested in coming on the program.
What's so funny about that? All good, though.
Does that mean like he believes that an invitation has been extended, or he would just like to come on the show as...
Why does it matter? Why does it matter? What does it really matter, the distinction, Ariel? You clearly want me on, okay? This is great for views. Sure, I may have mentioned in a live stream, I'm going to be in New York City. I wonder what collaboration I could do in New York City. And then I thought, oh my God, Ariel Helwani's there. Do I swing in through these fake windows in the back like a SWAT team member? Cruise in through the windows and stand my base like the ginger Kool-Aid man? I don't know what he wants to go for here, but... does it really matter what way around this is, Ariel, okay? I'm just trying to make most efficient my trip around the US. So I was hoping like Porzingis would be up for a collab in Boston, but he's no longer there, which breaks my heart, okay? So that's a big problem. So we got Ariel. Nashville's where Theo Von is, right? And he's a massive UFC fan. I want to make it worth it. Because if I'm going to go there, I want to be potent. Potent with my tour around the US, okay? So I want to get things done. I'm not sure where else I could do. Arkansas, of course, is going to be the main. I'll skip out any other place as long as I end up in Arkansas and get to go fishing with Bryce as initially planned. That's the reason I'm going to the US in the first place. So that's happening. No way around it. That's got to happen. I'm just thinking what else I could do in the other states. Let me know if there's any state you'd want me to go to. But does it really matter what way round it is, Ariel? Do you want me on the show or not, you know?
As a fan, I'm not sure. But I have no issues with Guru. He does a great job, and I've said this a million times. I know people love to pit him against me, but I've always said that I always have great respect for people that create their own lanes, paths, voices, things like that, and not everyone is going to be for everyone. I'm not going to be for everyone. He's not going to be for everyone. Luke is not going to be for everyone. PT's not going to be for everyone. Rick, it's just the way it is.
I am going to be for everyone. Everyone loves me.
But I did not know that. I did not know that. And are you saying that like you guys want like a Derek Moneyberg-esque interview?
Do not grill me like Moneyberg on your show, or the fucking gloves are coming off, Ariel, I tell you. Okay? That's all I need to say. I seen the Derek Moneyberg interview, and I was proud that Ariel himself stood his base against Derek Moneyberg in the sport. Well, I shouldn't even be saying his name or I don't know. You say his name 3 times. I think I said it twice. You say that name 3 times, lawsuits in the mail, okay? So you got to watch out around that name. But I was proud about how Ariel stood his base there. And listen, I had my things to say. I think the videos I was making stand. They were correct. You were up to no good. You were being wormy. But you've been on your best behavior since then. Since the big dog's been in town. Since the new sheriff in town for MMA content showed up. You've been on your best behavior, Ariel. And you've been doing some good things. So listen. If you're going to ask me about the animosity, we'll see.
On the set, in the studio? Is that what you're...
In person would be best. I don't want to do no Zoom call thing. I got to be there in person for sure.
You're saying? I'm not sure. I'd have to see the context. And what does touring the U.S. mean? What does that mean?
Like Led Zeppelin.
Going to different spots.
Oh, okay. Running with the devil.
That's Iron Maiden.
Yeah. Close enough.
Look, I'm surprised you even went. Surprised you had any take there.
Right?
Yeah.
Close enough.
Fair play.
No, but it does seem. I mean, I'm happy to see that it does, at least from what I'm, being told and stuff that I see, that it does seem as though the animosity has subsided, which I never quite understood where it was coming from.
There were some reasons. The Jamal Hill thing, the Dricus Duplessis thing. There were a lot of reasons, Ariel. There are a couple big reasons. I stand by the fact that Ariel was getting a bit tricky. Around the 10-8 Helwani time, he got a little bit too big for his boots, I thought, back in the day. So I was making a bunch of videos, and I didn't just make them for animosity's sake. I made them because there's some real points in those videos that people seem to unanimously agree with, which is why they did so well. But not everyone's unsavable. I feel like he's been on his best behavior since then.
So that's nice. I appreciate that. But, we're all about peace and love here. Peace and love. Peace
Buddy boom buddies all around.
Everyone's doing great things. What's that?
Just bring him in the studio and spark up a big fatty boom buddy and, get over it.
That is no way to describe Chris Barnett, but fair enough.
Or PRJ.
All of you guys, listen, guys. What are we doing?
Pass the Dutchie on the left.
Who would have thought? Yeah. You know what I mean? Do that one.
I'm starting to regret. I'm starting to regret this allegiance momentarily. But yeah, we'll move on to another moment in this a little bit later on, where he spoke at 10:04 here at the end, right around here. And this is an interesting part. This is an Ariel, by the way.
What else?
The CEO says MMA Guru wants to come to the studio.
Why are they so afraid to write his name?
Maybe they're afraid to...
What?
You're gonna get shadow banned for
or they're so excited.
Why are they so afraid to write his name is interesting. That's because, Ariel, my name's banned from your fucking live chat, Ariel. So you want to talk about this animosity be in one direction? Just like in Bisping's live chat, just like in the UFC's live chat, just like in ESPN's. If you type my name, it don't show up. So I don't think you can get it through super chats if you write MMA Guru in a super chat, because of course this one-sided animosity has led to my channel name not being able to be said in super chats on your channel. Now, that's an interesting conundrum there, okay? Which is why they're spacing out MMA Guru every time. It's not that they're scared to say the name, Ariel. It's that they can't physically do it in your chat because it was banned many moons ago when I was going after you on some shit, okay? Many moons ago now when I was making those videos. My channel name was banned from your super chats and your chat. So there you go. Just to thwart any chance of a question of mine being asked or a question about me being asked to you at the end of these streams. But they found loopholes, I guess.
Name.
Maybe they're afraid to...
What? I think you're going to get shadow banned for
or they're so excited, they're typing so quickly that it's just...
You seem to think, like, this is not a thing here. Like, the beef was always one-sided. Show me once, where we said anything that was remotely negative or
couple times you did. He doesn't say this is the thing. He never said my name on the thing. This is the first time we're getting Ariel discussing me. So let me tell you, dude, views are up and Ariel's interested again. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm noticing here. I'm noticing a lot here, guys. A lot of change is going on around here. When it comes to all of a sudden, we're okay to start mentioning MMA Guru on the channel. You know what I'm saying? This wouldn't have ran 2 years ago. But luckily, we've been building and building. The fight companions are going well. He's mentioned a few things about, you know, he's going to make an hour-long video about this, but never too negative, you know? Because he knows that would have fed me for weeks of content. If Ariel would have lashed out a couple years ago, hour-long video about a 30-second clip, you know it would be coming. Okay? I would have got hours of content about a 2-minute rant from Ariel Helwani.
You know, like that came from any sort of plate of hatred or anything like that. There's none of that. So you can write people's names. It's okay. We like to answer questions here.
You can't actually write MMA Guru in a super chat donation to Ariel's YouTube. Maybe it's changed now, but as of this stream, you actually can't do that.
Truthfully, freely, unbiasedly.
Yeah.
Is that the word?
No.
People are like, will you answer this question about Nina Drama?
And this is where we end. You bring up that fucking bitch. We're moving on to another topic real quick. But I want to talk about this as well. So yeah, dude, let me know in the comments below. Am I selling out? Is this it? Is that they finally got me? Am I now? Because I mentioned once on stream a while ago, I was saying this is me going on Ariel Helwani's show would be like Shane Gillis going on SNL. It just wouldn't make sense. But then I don't think I'm ever going to be in the US. I don't think I'm ever going to be in this position. I wanted to do this for like a living, you know, and I thought that's what it was going to be. But, you know, go on there, stand my base a little bit. He's going to ask me, what was all the animosity about? And I'm going to be like this. This is what these moments were about, well, why the animosity was there, okay? So these legitimate, correct moments that you had. And that might be why. So I think it would make for some good content. But I also wouldn't just overwhelm the entire interview into like a big gotcha, because otherwise Ariel's going to be playing some clips of me that could get me arrested in the UK behind me on the big screen. So, you know, we'll just keep it. Let's keep it within the Geneva Convention here. Okay? But there you go. Let me know what you think. And Theo Von, please reply to my DM. I really would like to. Just something, you know? I'll never be in Nashville ever again in my life. And while I was thinking, okay, I'm going to be in Nashville, so what am I going to do in Nashville? Theo Von's in Nashville, and he's a big MMA fan. I always see him sitting there for the early prelims. Don't leave that shit unread, Theo. I know I'm not verified on Instagram. I ain't paying for that shit, all right? But still, the point still stands. But yeah, Bryce Mitchell fishing with Bryce is happening, of course. Anything else? Let me know if there's anything else I need to do, or any places I need to go, or any collabs that need to happen. That would be good to know. I'm going to be in the US. We're going outside, okay? It's going to happen. I'm thinking Boston, New York City, Nashville, Arkansas, O-Block, you know, just for a little scenic view. Might have to go to O-Block, you know, at 5 a.m., pull a little 6'9". You know, where you guys at? I'll say, guys, where you guys are at. Maybe O-Block, maybe the Bronx, you know what I'm saying? Where I'm accepted and welcomed, I think would be good. Where it's safe. I hear a lot of nice things about Baltimore. You know, wherever Javonte Tank Davis is from seems like it'd be a pretty nice community. So I think we're considering a few things here, okay? Maybe some New Jersey thing. I don't know. Let me know what you guys want. But this is my offer. Any big names? Want to get me on anything, make my trip more worth it, then go ahead. But we've also got this Ronda Rousey shit, okay? Moving on from all the happy fun time stuff. She's going at everyone. She had an interview with Bert Kreischer. Okay? Just to make herself the least unlikable person in the room. But she really tried not to be. She really pushed to make sure, no, I'm going to be more unlikable in an interview than Bert fucking Kreischer. Okay? Which is a task in itself. If you know, you know. But Ronda Rousey was going off, first of all, at Joe Rogan, and then Shevchenko had this pick-me shit, which was like, I see Joe Rogan as a huge expert of martial arts. Noble man, hunter, sportsman, and good example for youth. Great stuff from Valentina Shevchenko there, but this is what Ronda Rousey had to say, okay?
Is there a price point that would get you back in the octagon?
I mean, I have everything I want. There's nothing that would really change my life.
Let's do price points on this.
Okay, $1 billion.
$150 million.
$1 billion.
You're not getting $1 billion to come back, okay?
$350 million.
Billion.
You're just fighting Bert Kreischer.
All right.
It's 50-50.
I will beat the shit out of you in your backyard for this house.
How long do I get to train? I was just talking to Joe on the walk over. How long for me to train to beat Ronda? That'll never happen.
He wouldn't know. He's not an expert. He's a fan with an audience.
Hold on now. Now, I don't think he's just a fan with an audience, but listen, I'm all in for some Rogan hatred, guys. Now and then, if you would have said, listen, Rogan's commentary shit. Rogan has some outdated takes on the sport and all of this. But this is interesting to see from Ronda because, I mean, we'll see how Joe Rogan's leech, let's just say. But Kreischer reacts to this.
It's interesting. Is that how you feel about
God.
Never fought.
He fought Taekwondo, right?
Never fought. That's
Laughing at Taekwondo is crazy. I'll have you know I went to a national tournament in the UK as a child. And I competed around the UK. And listen, did I get my ass whooped by fucking 13-year-olds when I was 10? Yes. I was put up against older kids because I was so big as a child. Yes, that's true. But listen, Taekwondo is a very legitimate sport, guys, okay? Did I go to nationals and lose in the first round and never place anywhere ever? And never get any accolades or win any championships? It might be true, but I was still there. Rogan won a national championship. To me, that makes him... Listen, I'm a real fighter, guys, so Rogan must be. Now, I know what she's saying, but this bitterness to Rogan's kind of insane, in my opinion, because Rogan was the one saying she would destroy Floyd Mayweather. And I still think there's a good shot. Mayweather's a frail little boy, and I think Ronda could take him down and sub him in a street fight. I do think that could happen, but Rogan was the one championing Ronda Rousey. There's those clips of Rousey punching like a tard and Rogan saying, you're talking elite level boxing, folks. So I wonder if there's something gone on behind the scenes. Has Rogan said no to having her on his podcast? I don't know what's gone on, but I always thought Rogan was the one that would say something wild like, imagine what Ronda Rousey would do to these guys when watching like Figueiredo Moreno or something. He's the one that would champion some delusionally positive Rousey takes. Maybe I'm missing something here.
It's not fighting. It's not fighting.
Well, I'm going to...
But judo is.
Exit this conversation. No,
I don't want you to get any bad DMs. We need to get out.
Going after Rogan's crazy. But you know what? If there's any... That's the one thing I admire her for. But I just think, it's true, kind of. But I feel like Rogan would know. Ish. But then also fuck Rogan. So I don't know. I'm torn on this one. She's going to mention Khabib in a second. And I've got some takes on that one. But this one's torn me a bit. I get it. He is a fan with an audience. It is true. But I would... You know what? This is based. You know what? When I first started this video, I thought, what's she saying about Rogan and Khabib and all of the MMA fans? But I'm going to detach myself from this and say, you know what? She's right. That gnome has no say in MMA. Not like the MMA guru, guys. Okay? Not like me. Rogan's not up to par with his takes. He ain't got the seal of approval from Demetrius Johnson, who said, you sound just like a fighter. It's so good. You actually have really high fight IQ. I love that I can talk to you like this because you talk like a fighter would. He doesn't have that seal of approval from one of the goats of MMA himself and one of the highest fight IQ fighters like Demetrius Johnson himself. So I don't know if he could I don't know if we're on the same level here, but you know what? This is based. I take back everything. This is a correct take. Interesting that Shevchenko rode to his defense. Fair enough. Fair enough. But Rousey had some other things to say as well about Khabib. And the other women's fighters are... Chris Cyborg follows me. Hold on now. I didn't realize Cyborg was a part of Jerusalem. I'll take it. Ronda Rousey had just as many UFC victories as me, but twice as many losses. So Rousey's going off here about Khabib. Now, I don't know if she's sort of baiting for an MMA guru interview, but maybe she's onto something here, guys. Maybe Rousey's onto something here. And as you know, Khabib's fan base have not taken well to a woman talking shit about Khabib. They have not taken well. I think I saw something like, how dare that skank show her neck or something like that. I don't even know, but they have not. I don't want to show what they've been saying about Rousey here, guys, because we've had people going off. Okay? I heard Get the Rocks muttered once somewhere in... Oh, what the fuck was that? Well, there you go. Anyway, I just got that was a threat there from one of his fans, but we're all good.
I think the only reason that why MMA fans have their lips so firmly planted at the base of Khabib's cock is because he retired before he reached his limit. And if he kept fighting until he reached his limit, everybody would be like, oh, Khabib ain't shit. He never was shit.
You know what? Hold on now. You know what? I actually disagree with this. Even though Khabib retired early, he still ain't shit. And that's the big disagreement that me and Rousey are going to have, guys. Okay? That's a huge disagreement that me and Rousey are going to have. Even though... and she says, you know, if Khabib would have went on and met his limit, they'd say he never was shit. I disagree. Khabib already ain't shit in this sport, okay? And Merab's proving that more and more. Because I start looking at Merab's resume compared to Khabib, and I start looking at Khabib's resume and thinking, he did just take the belt off of Al Quinta and then defend it 3 times. That happens a lot. And he was dominant. And he was undefeated. Or was he? At least in T-Bow fight. Watch it back. But Rousey's going off. This is kind of hot, guys. This is hot.
I think the only reason that why MMA fans have their lips so firmly planted at the base of Khabib's cock is because he retired before he reached his limit. And if he kept fighting until he reached his limit, everybody would be like, oh, Khabib ain't shit. He never was shit. And they're like that with everybody. Like, name one person. I mean, Brock ain't shit. He never was shit.
Listen. We say a lot like the old age of the sport isn't the best compared to that. When we have the GOAT conversations, it gets heated. Okay? Lucas Tracy will tell you that. When we have the GOAT conversations, it does get heated because you do have to compare resume and be like, okay, these guys aren't the best. They weren't fighting the best of the best. Brock might be an exception because the heavyweight division isn't the strongest. But in other divisions, we do typically say, come on, mentioning him as a GOAT over this person in the modern era. How can you say fucking this guy's a GOAT over Makhachev for his division, or this guy's a GOAT over... How can you even argue that someone's close to overtaking Anderson Silva, or at any point, you know, or Pantoja ever being close to overtaking DJ? But the level of competition is higher. So in that way, I agree. But I don't think people are saying like Brock Lesnar never was shit. You know? I think this is Rousey's experience that she's projecting onto other fighters to say, look, they do it to everyone. There's actually a big rift in the MMA community where I'm sick of hearing how great the old guys were because I want to move on with the future of the sport. So I wouldn't say that everyone's just like, they aren't shit. They are fucking awful. They weren't the best. Listen, Forrest Griffin's shit. He is. So I don't know how much I rate that on someone's legacy as like a, wow, what an amazing win they pulled off against Forrest Griffin. I can only imagine what Alex Pereira would do to Forrest Griffin. You know what I mean? I can only imagine what Alonzo Manyfield might do to Forrest Griffin, or Azamat Mirzakhanov could do to a Forrest Griffin. So in that way I understand, but I feel like Rousey's not over her departure from the sport.
Name one past champion that has that the kind of respect that the current champions do.
GSP. Demetrius Johnson still does. Dominic Cruz. Even though we say, listen, Merab's above him in the GOAT. Just because you're a past champion doesn't mean you have to be the GOAT forever. People still give respect to him. You know? It's the truth. Chuck Liddell. Listen, we all laugh at CT. Wow. Fucking hell. We all laugh at Tito Ortiz's CTE. How did I mess? I nearly called him CTE Ortiz. There you go. We all laugh at CTE Ortiz sometimes, guys, but you know, they're still legends of the sport. Anderson Silva still gets respect. He'll get cheered anywhere he goes. We even give respect for like the niche. You know, I talk shit about a lot of fighters from the past when we talk about the GOAT conversation. But to act like, name a champion who gets respect over the current guy in their division. I think GSP holds more respect than JDM and Bilal Muhammad and Leon Edwards and you know?
It's really sad because I think it encourages people to try and get out while they're peaking and taking all of that equity with them instead of passing it on to whoever's next to take up the mantle. I wanted to retire undefeated because I was so afraid of like, oh, everything that I've accomplished is going to be nothing if I ever lose. So I have to retire undefeated.
But then you lost once. This is the thing that Rousey's going to go on and mention. Maybe I'll get to the Dana White bit. This may be her worst take ever. But I want to talk about this bit as well. And this is a continuation of her last point. This is where I think she's dead wrong about this.
MMA fans and media are the most "what have you done for us lately" crowd.
It's true.
Of any sport. Like you look at WWE and they have such a reverence for their legends. And
that's because the current guys are fucking dog shit though. I do need to mention that. I couldn't name you a current WWE guy. I can name this picture. Andre the Giant. I didn't even watch WWE, but I know them, you know? Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold Steve Austin. I don't know. But, you know, Undertaker, like these names that I used to play the action figures with when I was 7. Eventually you turn 12 years old and you just stop watching WWE. Or you just get Down syndrome. I think that's how it works. And then that's the only acceptable way to be an adult WWE fan. But now it's Logan Paul. So it's not the same. That'd be like, and again, I always compare him to CM Punk. That'd be like who's a WWE wrestler, if we were saying, if CM Punk was a current active UFC champ, and we were saying, these guys are way above the old guys. No, I was saying these guys are way above the old guys because they actually are. Makashev's a generational talent. If he beats JDM, there's GOAT conversations, period. Not just of his division, not just is he top 10. Period. If Murad beats Yan again, there's some real conversations to be had. You know, if Pantoja gets through Joshua Van, it's getting close. Yeah, I mean, we're on the GOAT horizon is what I call this next year, 2026, the end of this year as well. But that's why, because the current sport, even though we don't really think there's as many stars or big names, there's generational talents in each division, you know?
MMA, it's like the second that you're not on top, you're not shit and you never were shit. Chuck Liddell, when he's on top, oh my God, he's the best. The second that he loses, oh, Chuck Liddell ain't shit, he never was shit.
I don't agree with that. I feel like Rousey is taking her own experience and just putting it on other champions that... Like, Liddell, when he wasn't on top, then he got back on top. She's going to mention other names here, maybe Rampage, which is weird because I've gone at Rampage as a father and the way he acted about the whole Raja thing, which we don't want to re-bring that old thing up. But Rampage is still heralded. And I'd say, listen, what would Alex Pereira would have destroyed Rampage in his prime? Because it's true. But it's not like people in general, like the casual fan base doesn't still go, holy shit, it's Rampage Jackson. You know?
Rampage Jackson, oh my God, he's the next Mike Tyson. He's so great. Second he loses,
I don't know if anyone was saying that, but fair enough.
Rampage ain't shit. He never was shit.
Yeah.
GSP, he loses. He's not shit. He never was shit.
What are we talking about? And then she goes on about Khabib again, which might be based. But yeah, Khabib ain't the fucking GOAT. That is fucking out. I hate this graphic. Just end of discussion. But those examples are like, these guys fought on past their losses and got back to the top. When Chuck Liddell lost, Chuck Liddell got KO'd before by who? I mean, I know on his slide he got KO'd by like Rashad Evans, but I feel like Chuck Liddell got KO'd by Rampage at one point. And then he still came back on top, and then he would lose again and come back on top and get back to the championship belt, and he would lose his belt and then back in the title picture again. So I think Ronda Rousey isn't GSP, same thing. He lost, but then what did he do? He worked his way back. He got the belt again. Went on a bit more of a run. Lost again. Didn't go on a bit more of a run. Lost again to Matt Serra. Got it back. Went on a run. So that's why the narrative isn't the same amongst them. And why the narrative is that Ronda Rousey wasn't shit, never was shit, is because the second she faced adversity, she cried and quit the sport and disappeared for years and did no media and didn't give any MMA fan service whatsoever. Whereas these other guys Cruz lost to Garbrandt. He stood up there at the press conference with his mic in his hand. And unanimously, the comment section of that video is, what a champion this guy is. You know, what a legend to actually stand there and face the crowd and take it all in and accept the loss and give full credit to Cody Garbrandt. You lost, and you blame this and that and this. You disappeared for years. Rocked back up against Amanda Nunes years later on the same night as Cruz versus Garbrandt, almost to be poetic in my example I just brought up. On the same night, you did no media in the build-up to that fight. You did no media whatsoever. You refused to do any media. You refused to even talk about the fight to anyone. You lost again, got destroyed, and then you disappeared again. If you would have returned and fought a contender and got the belt back or fought for a title again, there'd be some more respect. And I actually think if Rousey wasn't a bitter cunt about this, there would be more respect. Just in general, everyone does say Ronda Rousey pioneered women's MMA. Ronda Rousey set the tone. Women wouldn't be in the UFC if it wasn't for Ronda Rousey. That is the truth. She was the female UFC star, and no one has been a star since then, really. They say Nunes is, they say Shevchenko is. They draw shit pay-per-view numbers. Rousey was drawing big pay-per-view numbers. Huge pay-per-view numbers. So I feel like she is respected, but I guess just not enough for Rousey, which is going to in turn garner her less respect. And she's definitely listening. I don't think Khabib's fan base were all too fond of respecting a Rousey anyway, to say the least, or someone of Rousey's or, DNA, let's just say, chromosomes, let's just say. Not that she's got downs, but like that she's a woman. But this is definitely not going to make them like her at all. So she's almost angry that a couple of people are diminishing some of her accomplishments and then saying, let me just make sure no one accepts any of my accomplishments. Let me just turn them off all the way here. But it's interesting. It's a complex thing, of course, because we do shit talk some of the legends, but that's, I feel like, in the conversation of who's better, the current guys or the old guys. And when someone tells me, dude, imagine what Rampage would have done to Pereira, I think to myself, I saw what Forrest Griffin did to Rampage. Pereira would kill him in a round, you know? So it almost feels like it draws the negativity out of the conversation when we're having to defend that maybe, just maybe, Tom Aspinall could hang with prime Frank Mir. You know? Maybe, just maybe. And it feels like that conversation comes up a lot, or like, I think that GSP is the exception to this, but we always hear things like that. Like, how would Silver have done against Chimaev? I have an idea, in all honesty. But, so it almost brings a negative side out of it, the fact that we have to defend the current guys against a narrative that they'll never be anything compared to the older generation of fighters that were fighting people who were part-time fighters, a lot of them, you know? But then she also said this about Dana White, and listen, she may have been cooking on Rogan and some of the Khabib things, but this is where she lost me completely.
Is it fair to say that Dana is the biggest star at the UFC?
I think without Dana, its soul is gone. And
I think Dana is, I'll jump in here before Bert does. I think Dana is the reason it doesn't have a fucking soul right now, and they need some new life. Okay? Without Dana, it wouldn't have a soul. I reckon anyone could do a better job of making fight announcements than Dana White. I reckon anyone could do a better job. Maybe he's so pathetic that it actually works because it gives me content and there's more to talk about. But I think we actually need new life in the top of the promotion right now that isn't Dana White, who's just rocked up after a power slap event. You know? I disagree with that statement completely.
Dana is the heart. Dana is such an, I hope you and Dana are cool.
Oh, I love him so much.
He is such.
You used to love him a lot more. We won't get into that. Dana's been around, guys. I don't know. I'll stop.
He's everything you want that fucking guy to be.
Except logical, on time, enthusiastic, interested. Except any of those things.
Intensity, I love you, Dana, but he's still a little bit of a meathead. You know, like,
who isn't though? That like makes you identify with him more.
That's why I love the guy.
Yeah.
Is like, And
because he's retarded and you can relate to him. Interesting takes here.
His energy, what he drives him, and his vision, and the fact that he doesn't give a fuck, and he's just talked wild shit and not giving a fuck. I love Dana White.
I agree with some of the other takes about how he doesn't give a fuck about political correctness and stuff like that. But I kind of want the owner of the company to give a fuck about the company, you know? So when it comes to his thoughts on the UFC, I do kind of want him to give a fuck about it, you know? Because very clearly he just doesn't give a fuck. But I agree with the other types of things they might be discussing here with his political correctness and all this gay shit, you know?
He is the star of UFC.
Yeah. But
no, he's not. No, he's not. No, he's fucking not, man. He's some bald fucking geriatric old man that is fun to roast. That's it. I know he's a big name, and listen, there will be a bit of a void. Like, I'll miss Dana when he's gone still. He's, dumb old tard. You know? So we kind of have this weird affection for Dana because he's our tard. You know, he might be an old bald tard, but he's our bald tard. You know what I mean? But, you know, I feel like there could definitely be some new life at the top of the promotion.
Yeah, with when Dana's done, I think the dominant MMA, organization, that title will be up for grabs.
Nah. I think Dana at the moment, over the past few years, is the reason why there would ever be any fucking chance for any other MMA promotion to claim the title of the major MMA promotion. I do think there needs to be a swift change. I'm not offering myself for the job, but I think I'd be a lot more enthusiastic and trying. I'd try a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think Dana is it. Without him, it's just 3 letters.
And a bunch of people on every part of the roster and all of the champions. Without Dana, it's no. When you see posts about the UFC, I see more of them on like Full Violence or some edit goes viral. I barely know the UFC's on from a UFC post anymore. Anyone else? I know the UFC's on because some MMA YouTuber brought it up, or I know some like some like Apex Fight Night cards on because someone's mentioned a meme about it on Twitter, or done this, or posted an edit on some niche fighter, or the fighting nerds. I've always described this is the best example of this. The UFC did nothing to promote the fighting nerds. The fighting nerds was an entirely fan-driven promotion. The fans got behind the fighting nerds. Baralho said, fighting nerds. And then it went to the edits introducing Huffy, and then it showed his highlights. Bow, 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 and then it went to protest. And then it went to like Gene Silver as well. That was an entirely fan-driven promotion. UFC puts on a press conference. UFC does this, that. Even the Diego Lopez Gene Silver promotion. What do you remember is the most memorable piece of promotion that they had for that? That Gene Silver walked past Diego with a globe in his hand while Diego had that cowboy hat on, and the edit went, little less, little more, out in Arizona. And it cut to Diego Lopez. There was some like fan service done for promotion these days. And I don't think Dana's holding down the ship. I think he's the anchor. You know what I'm saying? Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Toodle pip. I'll see you later. Goodbye. Any recommendations for collabs or anything to do out in the US? So far, I've settled on Boston, New York City, O-Block, and Nashville, and in Arkansas fishing. Got to do some fishing out there. But where else? I'm sure I could squeeze in another stop. Toodle pip. Any ladies? Any US? No, I don't know. We'll cut our losses. Don't want to get too crazy here, guys. See you later. Goodbye.